Moonlit Peaks is one of those games where the pitch does most of the work before you even press play. Cozy farming sim, vampires, magic crops, romance, although a surprising lack of blood, which feels a little rude for a vampire game, but I understand we are being approachable here. The easiest way to describe it is Stardew Valley and Graveyard Keeper meeting in a dark little field and deciding they both wanted something less stressful. Not horror, not gothic dread, more like, what if Halloween decorations became a lifestyle brand and then asked you to water grapes? I played the demo for just under 3 hours, which was enough to finish the main content. I slowed down near the end because I wanted to explore the farming, building, gathering, and world instead of sprinting through the story like a chicken with a task list. And I recommend doing that, because this demo can go by quickly if you only follow the main objectives. You start by leaving home and ending up at your family's distant cottage. The land is overgrown, your life is apparently going through a very aesthetic crisis, and your uncle, who used to be the caretaker, has been irreversibly turned into a bat. A lot of games give you a dead relative and a neglected farm. Moonlit Peaks gives you a bat uncle. I respect the escalation. You also meet a drunken, grumpy, Dracula-esque vampire who persuades you to grow him some grapes and make him wine. That gives you a good sense of the tone. It is silly, sometimes right on the edge of too silly, but mostly it does not fall through the window. After that, the demo opens into a small slice of the world. Cottage, farm plot, beach, baddie observatory, market, graveyard, fishing quarry, and forested glade. There's also a bridge to the town, but in the demo that bridge remains blocked off. And that is probably the biggest thing hanging over the whole demo. The town is right there. It is clearly where the full game is going to open up. More NPCs, quests, shops, storylines, and hopefully more relationship depth. But in the demo, it just sits there, judging you from across the bridge. You also meet Death in a Hawaiian shirt. The interaction is very cheesy, but somehow Moonlit Peaks walks that cursed line between cheesy and cringe. It does not always feel sharp, but it does feel sincere. Overall, I met 9 unique NPCs. 3 were shopkeepers. That gives the world shape, but does not prove how deep the social side will be. And that is where Moonlit Peaks currently lives for me. It has shape, it has charm, it has a clear identity, but the demo is light enough that a lot depends on what happens once the town opens. For gameplay, I am talking about the actual loop. How does it feel to move, farm, chop, gather, fish, shop, cook, craft, give gifts, and move through the day? The controls are smooth, farming was easy to understand. Planting, watering, clearing the plot, shopping, and moving between areas all felt comfortable. Nothing fought me. That matters. These games live or die on repetition. If watering crops feels bad, you're not playing a cozy farming sim anymore. You are attending a tiny daily punishment ritual. The basic loop works, but some repeated actions need more weight. When chopping wood, the axe swings through the tree, but the impact does not fully connect. The action happens, the resource arrives, but the moment feels disconnected. Chopping wood should have a thunk. Harvesting should have a snap. Mining should feel like you hit something, not like you politely suggested the rock reconsider its structure. This is not a bug. It is game feel, and in a farming sim, game feel is not a side dish, it is half the meal. Cooking was probably the most disappointing system because I could only really cook eggs. And I like eggs, but not enough for that to feel like a cooking system. Maybe with better planning I could have snuck in 1 or 2 other recipes, but most of what I saw was locked behind needing a mill. Temporary mill access would help show what cooking can become. There's also one extremely important feature. You can put hats on your farm animals, and that is downright delightful. Sometimes, art advances because a stone cow is wearing a small hat. I do not make the rules, I simply live under them. However, outside of cute hats on gremlin farm animals, the biggest gameplay issue was the relationship system. I gave gifts that got very positive text reactions multiple times, and I expected that to start mattering in some noticeable way. A discount, a new greeting, a new dialogue option, a new hat, a relationship tracker showing that gifts worked and where I stood with each NPC. But I didn't really see that. Gifting is one of the main verbs in this kind of game. If the game asks me to care about what characters like, and then rewards me with a positive reaction, I need some sense of impact. Otherwise, gifting feels less like building a relationship and more like feeding compliments into a decorative vending machine. So for gameplay, I give the Moonlit Peaks demo a 3 out of 5. The controls are smooth and the loop is pleasant, but repeated actions need more impact, cooking was too limited, and the relationship feedback needs to be much clearer. Art and visual design is one of Moonlight Peaks' stronger areas, even if it is not completely immune to the cozy game cloning that. Some choices feel like generic cozy sim with supernatural accessories, mostly with the NPCs. Cute hair, big eyes, recognizable trait, apply supernatural garnish. But there's clearly care in the visual design. The NPCs had enough visual identity to stand out, and the environments are where the game really shines. The cottage, beach graveyard, florist area, forest glade, and quarries all have their own mood. The flora is gorgeous, and the world has that colorful, cozy Halloween look without becoming visual soup. The animals are also excellent. The plump little chickens with chicks desperately trailing behind them made me smile, and the rock monster trembling near a pickaxe is exactly the kind of tiny interaction that makes the world feel alive. One of my favorite features is that you can transform into a cat. Not a bat, a cat, and honestly, I'll take it. The cat moves faster, gives you a speed boost, and lets you dig without opening the tool wheel. Beyond utility, it is just fun to zip around as a cat. The UI was decent, if standard. I liked the 2-button tool drop down. Inventory felt deep enough, though storage was strange because I could only store things inside the house. Unless I missed it, I also could not find a relationship screen or clear gift tracker. Some animations were good, but the player reaction animation got annoying after a while. When it came to NPC animations, it's clear that the game wants comedically animated moments. But during these moments, it has pauses that linger a little too long. And because of that, the comedic elements can shift down and lose momentum in the scenes. Still, visually, Moonlight Peaks has a strong identity. Art and visual design gets a 4 out of 5. Technically, the demo was strong. I had no bugs, no crashes, no weird performance issues. Nothing broke. The demo ran cleanly. Most of my technical criticism is about immersion rather than stability. For instance, Yapish teleporting around when you just saw him somewhere else felt jarring. Not game-breaking, just a moment where the game reminds you everyone is on a schedule and reality is being held together with quest tape. It also feels very fixable, because these characters can literally teleport or be in 2 places at once. The game just needs to hint at that, so it feels intentional instead of accidental. The technical aspects of the demo get a 4 out of 5. Now for sound design. This is my biggest issue with Moonlight Peaks. The sound design needs more Fangs. The game is visually cute, the concept is strong, the world has personality, but the audio does not always meet it there. NPC interactions felt flat. I do not need full voice acting, but the characters need more little sounds. Murmurs, laughs, huffs, grumbles, small personality noises. The kind of audio seasoning that makes conversations feel alive, or undead, whatever HR category vampires fall under. The same goes for farming, chopping, harvesting, and collecting. The sounds are not terrible, but they need more presence, more texture, more little dopamine buttons. I also did not get a strong ambience feel. I craved a more distinct background track to bring this cozy Halloween world to undead life. Sound design gets a 2 out of 5. Not because it's broken, because it feels undercooked or underbitten. The question is, does this demo live up to the game the developers are describing? My answer is partially. You are a vampire, you sleep in a coffin, you farm at night, you grow strange crops, you meet supernatural locals. You can transform into a cat and rocket around the map like a domestic cryptid with errands. The concept, tone, and cozy Halloween identity are there, but the demo does not fully prove the depth yet. The vampire side is fun, but thematically hollow. I do not need blood. I do not need struggle with hunger. There's no hunt, no temptation, no strange undead problem to manage. And I am not saying this needs to become dark or violent. It clearly does not want that. But if you make me a vampire and remove almost every meaningful vampire limitation, eventually I'm mostly a cozy farmer with excellent sleep branding. And I'm not sure exactly where that might land with some people's expectations. The magical systems feel teased more than delivered. I got farming and winemaking, but no real potion making. Spells were hinted at, but not deeply available. The relationship promise is also unproven. So does Moonlight Peaks live up to the developer description? In tone, yes. In promise, maybe. In depth, not yet. That brings me to demo scope. The demo feels light. Not bad, but light. It gives you enough to understand the concept, test the controls, meet a handful of characters, farm a bit, gather resources, cook one deeply ambitious egg. turn into a cat, and see where the world might be going. But even when I stretched it out, I reached a point where it felt purposeless. A lot of my time was spent running around the map or sitting through cutscenes. The cutscenes were well done, but for a demo I think it's important to get people's hands on the systems more. Let me cook more, let me test potions, let me see relationships actually changing. Let me enter a tiny part of the town, because demos are weird little trust exercises. They ask you to believe in what the game will become. With Moonlight Peaks, I believe there could be much more, but the demo gave me just enough to wonder and not quite enough to prove it. Final scores: gameplay, 3 out of 5. Art and visual design, 4 out of 5. Sound design, 2 out of 5. And technical, 4 out of 5. The average score for this demo is 3.25 out of 5. Final recommendation on this cozy little vampire sim: for very cozy players, you should play the demo first. If you are already on the fence, wait for the full release. This might become a very sweet little vampire farm sim. It has charm, animal hats, cat transformation, a world I do want to see more of. But right now, I want to see what happens when the town opens, the systems expand, and the game finally lets the Fangs grow in. Thanks for making it to the end. If you enjoyed the video, please like, please subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.